The world you live in is quietly, cruelly indifferent, and the sooner you face that, the sooner you can stop blaming fate for the life that feels perpetually just out of reach. Right now, as you hear my voice, someone with less talent than you is being celebrated. Someone with fewer virtues is commanding attention. Someone with fewer dreams is living the life you secretly long for. Because they understand something almost no one teaches: the invisible currents that shape human behavior. You've been conditioned to think life should be fair, that effort equals reward, that kindness is currency. You've been told to wait, to hope, to obey the unwritten rules of decency. But while you do, others are bending the invisible threads of influence, quietly sculpting reality to serve their purpose. The world isn't unfair because it's chaotic. It's unfair because most people refuse to understand its hidden architecture. History, if you know how to read it, isn't about kings and empires. It's about human nature, repeated like a fractal pattern, always rewarding insight, not virtue. Machiavelli glimpsed it in Renaissance Italy. Nietzsche wrestled with it in his lonely study. Plato observed it in the corridors of Athens. They noticed the same thing. People respond, not to your goodness, but to your presence, your clarity, your understanding of the human heart, and your willingness to wield it. I used to be invisible, a silent observer, a conscientious thinker, a believer in fairness. I watched as the loud, the confident, the charming, the ruthless moved through life untouched, while my own quiet efforts passed unnoticed. I worked harder, thought deeper, felt more, but no one noticed, until one day, the realization struck. Like lightning, the world doesn't reward your virtue. It doesn't notice your patience. It doesn't value your intellect, unless you know how to make others feel the weight of it. This isn't cynicism, it's liberation. Once you see the machinery behind human interaction, you can stop being its plaything. Once you understand the invisible forces at work, you can start to move with them, not against them. Before we go further, I want you to do something. Repeat this silently. Write it down. Whisper it, if you must. I refuse to live in the shadow of the invisible currents. I will understand. I will act. I will no longer be unseen. This is your first step, not toward domination in the cruel sense, but toward sovereignty over your own mind and your own life. Are you ready? Fairness is a myth, a comforting illusion, sold to keep you compliant. Every time you wait for your turn, someone else is quietly taking it. Every time you trust that others will honor your boundaries, someone else is quietly rewriting the rules. Life doesn't care about fairness. It cares about perception, momentum, and the courage to act. Think about your own life. How often have you held back because it didn't feel right to push? How often have you deferred, waited, hoped, or given without reciprocity? You've been taught that restraint is noble, but in restraint, you quietly surrender power. History is littered with those who waited for fairness instead of seizing reality. Socrates warned, the unexamined life is not worth living, yet many ignored him and paid the ultimate price. Bonhoeffer saw injustice rise quietly. He knew passive virtue would never suffice. Waiting for fairness is a kind of quiet suicide of potential. Ruthlessness isn't anger, it's control. the quiet mastery of your reactions. Most people mistake rage for strength, but rage is weakness in motion. A truly powerful person is not the one who explodes. It's the one who remains unreadable, serene, deliberate. Imagine someone insults you publicly. The ordinary reaction is defensive, argument, explanation, retribution. But the strategically disciplined person asks, what action, not reaction, will shift the balance of perception in my favor? Maybe silence, maybe a cold factual correction, maybe a subtle maneuver that shifts the social field without a word. This is the art of psychological sovereignty, transforming emotion into strategy, transforming insult into leverage. Machiavelli said, injuries should be inflicted all at once, so their ill effects are minimized by being decisive. Translated, it means, when you must respond, make it unambiguous, final, impactful. Emotional discipline is the unseen armor that protects influence. You've been programmed to seek approval, to be liked, to smooth over friction. But the harsh truth, likability is cheap, respect is rare. People risk little by disappointing someone they like. They risk everything by crossing someone they respect. Likable people are safe, predictable, negotiable. Dominant people are dangerous in perception. They command attention without demanding it. They enforce boundaries without drama. Their approval is sought, not given freely. Plato wrote about the philosopher king, the ruler, loved and feared, wise and decisive. You do not need to be a ruler, but you can cultivate the same principle, a presence that commands attention, a boundary that is not optional. Being respected is not cruelty, it's integrity paired with clarity. Most people fail because they hesitate. They make weak threats, empty warnings, repeat dissatisfaction. Power is quiet, undeniable. It commands attention through action, not chatter. Imagine a colleague repeatedly undermining you. The weak response, endless complaints, hoping someone notices. The decisive response, one calculated move, communicates consequence, shifts perception. The point is not vindictiveness, it is finality. History remembers those who acted decisively. Julius Caesar did not conquer Gaul with hesitation. He acted decisively and left no room for challenge. The psychologically dominant person does the same on a personal scale. Fewer moves, greater impact, actions that speak louder than words. The most sophisticated form of influence is subtle. It's shaping perception. People respond, not to truth, but to what they believe is true. Your reputation, your aura, your consistency. These are the currencies of influence. Jung observed, humans project their fears and desires onto others. Understanding this is not manipulation, it is awareness. Master perception, and you subtly guide reality. Humans avoid discomfort. We cling to familiarity, even when it stifles us. Philosophers, Bonhoeffer, Nietzsche, argued growth requires confrontation, not only with the world, but with ourselves. To wield influence, you must disrupt comfort, not to hurt, but to awaken, to challenge assumptions, to insist others recalibrate. Comfort is the cage. Disruption is freedom. Everything, society, career, friendship, love, operates on invisible structures, not rules of law, but psychological patterns, social expectations, subtle forces. Those who recognize patterns, anticipate behavior, act with clarity, move through life with momentum. Those who do not remain bound, frustrated, unseen. Mastery is internal. External power follows internal clarity. You must cultivate sovereignty over your mind, your choices, your perception of reality. The cruelest truth: the world will challenge you, test you, ignore you. The most profound truth: nothing external can limit you. Once you understand and navigate the forces within and around you, the invisible chains fall away. Not because the world changes, but because you have changed. You see what others cannot, act when others hesitate, inhabit a space of psychological sovereignty. In that space, there is freedom, influence, life lived with clarity. Most will never experience. Remember, it is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself. And from that mastery flows a presence that commands respect, inspires caution, and leaves a mark that cannot be ignored. The world will still be indifferent, but you will be awake, and that changes everything. If this resonates with you, if you're ready to reclaim your power, smash that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you never miss the next exploration into the hidden truths of human nature.